Alright, today's lesson is on section 2.2, how to find x and y intercepts. Okay, so first we need to define what an x-intercept and a y-intercept is. An x-intercept is where the line intersects or crosses the x-axis. Alright? So if we remember, if we need to visualize on a graph, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. So the x-intercept is the point at which the line crosses the x-axis. Okay? The y-intercept, then, is just the point where the line intersects the y-axis. Okay? So if you're given a graph, it's usually very simple. Let's look down at these two examples here. What is the x-intercept of the line? As long as we know that this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis, then we know that the x-intercept is where the line touches the x-axis, which is at this point right here.
Freshmen, sophomore, and junior students, please be sure to pick up your photos from the atrium before the end of lunch.
Alright, let's keep rolling. Write your answer as an ordered pair. That just means we don't just obviously draw an arrow, we need to tell me what that point is. So if this is on the x-axis, that's -1, -2, -3, and it didn't go up at all, so 0. So that point would be -3, 0. This is the x-intercept of that line. Okay? And what is the y-intercept of the line? Well, same thing. This is the y-intercept. It's where the line crosses the y-axis. So this is up 1, 2, 3, 4. It's up 4, but it's 0 on the x-axis, so it's 0, 4. Okay, so it's easy when you're given a graph, but here are a couple tricks for if you're not given a graph. Notice, and this is the most important note of the day, the x-intercept will always have a y value of 0. What does that mean? Go up here and look at my x-intercept. My x is -3, my y is 0. X-intercepts always have that 0 there. Y-intercepts will always have an x value of 0. Notice here, y-intercept was 0, 4. It will always be 0 if you have a y-intercept. Okay, so it might be good to underline x-intercept and y-intercept on your notes. Okay, we're going to use this to solve problems. Okay, it says, therefore, if we are ever asked to find the x-intercept, okay, I'm going to use int for short the rest of the lesson, but if you are ever asked to find the x-intercept, you need to let y equal 0 in that equation. Okay, and if you're trying to find the y-intercept, you probably already know what's coming, but you need to let x equal 0 in the equation. Okay, so it's easy to find on a graph. Let's use this here to solve a few problems. Okay, so consider the line with an equation y equals 3x minus 12. It wants us to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So x-intercept, let y equal 0 in that equation. So I'm going to rewrite this equation with y being a 0. And if I solve this, I should have my x-intercept. So we need to add 12 to both sides. We'll have 12 equals 3x. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 4. This is my x-intercept, but we never write it like this. We need to write it as an ordered pair. So we would come up here and say the x-intercept is at 4, 0. Okay, likewise, we do the same for the y-intercept, but instead of putting a 0 in for the y, we put a 0 in for the x. So y equals 3 times 0 minus 12. This is very easy to solve. Y equals 3 times 0 is just 0, so all we're left with is a minus 12. So here is our y-intercept. But when we write it, we have to write it as an ordered pair. Okay? Let's flip over to page 2 of your notes and let's do a couple more examples. Consider the line with the equation 3x plus 4y equals 24. Okay, this one looks different. This is in standard form. This is not in slope-intercept form. But that doesn't matter, because we know that to find the x-intercept, you will plug in a 0 for the y. So let's try that. 3x plus 4 times 0 equals 24. This becomes 0, and you just have 3x equals 24. Therefore, x equals 8 when you divide both sides by 3. We just found our x-intercept that fast. X-intercept is 8, but we have to write it as an ordered pair. The point, we have to write it as a coordinate, 8, 0. Okay, find the y-intercept now. We're going to plug in a 0 for the x. So it'll be 3 times 0 plus 4y equals 24. 3 times 0 is 0, so it's 4y equals 24. Divide both sides by 4, and y equals 6, but we have to write it as a point, so that would be 6, 0. Just kidding. If you thought that was right, then you're falling asleep. Okay, y is 6, so this is 0, 6. Be careful. Make sure you put them in the right spot, because I will be looking for them. All right? Okay, last one. This kind of ties everything together from the last few days, so this is a little more difficult. Consider the line with the equation 2x minus 4y equals 8. They want us to find the slope, they want us to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept, and they want us to graph it, which we'll do last. Okay? Let's find our intercepts first. X-intercept, plug in a 0 for the y. So it will be 2x minus 4 times 0 equals 8. 2x equals 8, x equals 4. So x-intercept is 4, 0. Y-intercept, I'm going to plug a 0 in for the x. Two times 0 is 0, negative 4y equals 8. Divide by negative 4 on both sides, y equals negative 2. Boom. Okay, so we're in business. Find the slope, though. This is not in slope-intercept form. So we have to change from standard form to slope-intercept form. If you remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So we need to get y all by itself. We've done this when we're solving equations by rearranging. So we need to move this 2x to the other side, and then we're going to divide everything by 4. Okay, I'll do it down here. Actually, I'll do it off to the side where we have more room. 2x minus 4y equals 8. I need to subtract 2x from both sides. That will give me 2x minus 2x cancels, so negative 4y equals 8 minus 2x. Okay, now we need to, don't add 4. We're tempted to do that. Don't do it. Divide by negative 4. Everything. Okay, everything. So negative 4 cancels, and you just have y. 8 divided by negative 4 is a negative 2, and negative 2 divided by negative 4 is a positive 1/2. Okay, so what we just did here is we have this in slope-intercept form now. And if you remember, your slope is always the number in front of the x. So find the slope of this line. What is the number in front of the x? That's easy, 1/2. So if you're ever trying to find slope, you have to convert it to slope-intercept form first. Okay? And then lastly, graphing. And you guys spent time on this in class on Tuesday. So if we need to graph this line here, we look up at our, well, let's just use our 2 intercepts. That's the easiest way. There are a lot of ways to graph a line. But if you have an x-intercept at 4, 0, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, right here. Then we have 0, negative 2, so that's 0, that's here. There we go. If you have your 2 intercepts.
Students, freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, please pick up your photographs before you go to your fifth period class. All students, underclassmen, please stop in the atrium and grab your school photo before you go to fifth period.
They should know I'm teaching here. Next time I'll tell them no announcements when I'm doing a video, because I'm the boss. So we're done. We're graphed. And if you want to check, look, our slope is 1/2. Let's check. Up 1 over 2. Perfect. Up 1 over 2. Perfect. So you know that you graphed that line correctly. Okay? So for this lesson, just recap, 10-second recap. To find an x-intercept, you plug in a 0 for y. To find a y-intercept, you plug in a 0 for x. And it's just where on the graph, here is my x-intercept, there is my y-intercept. They're very easy to see on the graph. Okay, so remember this word, intercept. Enjoy the rest of your off-campus day. Hopefully your homework is not too difficult. Look on your calendar for homework. Actually, let me pull it up here so that you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Your homework for this is, you can tell this is my first video because I wasn't prepared, but that's okay. I'm pulling up your calendar on Academy Central, which you can do as well, but I know you'd probably rather me just write it here. So your homework is page 68, problem number 32 through 37, 54 and 55, and 58 and 59. So what's that? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 problems. So again, use these notes. Rewatch this video if you need to, but good luck. Have a great weekend.